I just fucked with the wrong Mexican.
One of the most familiar faces in action films, critically acclaimed television shows, and even zombie-themed Call of Duty content is Danny Trejo. Waterbourne spent 10 minutes with the star of Machete, Heat, Con Air, From Dusk Till Dawn, Breaking Bad, Sons of Anarchy, and even Black Ops, Call of the Dead, in this next installment of the 2old2play pop culture series.
All right, so this is Dane Tullock, a.k.a. Waterbourne, here at Rock and Shock 2012. We waited the whole weekend, but we got the biggest skit of the whole show, Danny F. and Trejo. Danny, thank you so much for taking some time to talk to us today, sir.
Thank you, man. It's a pleasure, man. Having a lot of fun here at Rock and Shock in Worcester.
We had an opportunity 2 years ago to talk to you. We were talking, you had the hay fever because of the circus in here, right?
Right, all the dust.
So we're going to get to the video games in a minute, but I want to talk to you first about the films that you've done and what you have coming up. I didn't realize you were in films 20 years ago. You've been around a long time, brother. So tell us a little bit about coming up in the film industry real quickly.
My first film was a movie called Runaway Train.
Yeah, I was just telling him about that.
I got into it just completely by accident.
Yeah.
I was a drug counselor, and I came on set to help one of the PAs that was having some problems, and I ran into a friend of mine, a guy named Eddie Bunker, who had me training Eric Roberts, who was here, you know. And then Andrei Kozlowski, the director, saw me and picked me to fight Eric in the movie. So that was my first, my first movie. And then from there, I kind of just kept on. I kept playing like inmate number one and tattooed guy and prisoner. So, but I had a blast and ended up having a pretty good career.
Yeah, you've done pretty good. That actually had Rebecca De Mornay in it too, did it not?
Rebecca De Mornay, Andrei Kozlowski. There's a whole bunch of old stars in the movie.
Excellent. Well, one of my favorite movies you've done, obviously, was Badass. More because it was somewhat out of character. Here, first of all, Danny Trejo, a senior citizen, bus driver, whatnot. So talk to us about Badass, and that's kind of out of your genre, so to speak. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, Craig, the director, he kind of talked me into his, and it was about it was actually it was a true story about a Vietnam vet, and I love, veterans, so we. So I said, let me read it. So we did it and changed it a little and came up with a really good movie. People are really loving it. People are really enjoying it. And I had a lot of fun making it. And literally, people tell me to describe him. And I say, he's a badass. And that's why they call it Badass. So he just rights wrong. I love characters. I hate the superheroes that fly around in tights, wearing a cape, look like girls. It's like this guy's just a regular guy, wears a fanny pack, and just don't mess with him, though.
Right, and the thing is, he looks out for the people who can't look out for himself. And it seems to me that I get this feeling, and I haven't talked to you very much in the past, but I get the feeling that that's something that's important to you, kind of the underground. You see a lot of friendships with people like Bill and the people you work with. Talk to me a little bit about the friendships that you develop in this industry.
Well, I have a lot of good friends, and a lot of the people that I end up with, in a sense, are one of the two kinds of people. There's only two kinds of people in the world, as far as I'm concerned. There's those that want to make a difference, and those that are just taking up space. You know what I mean? And the people I like to associate with are most of the people that want to make a difference. We want to make a difference by helping other people. That's what we do, Go to high schools, go to juvenile halls, go to institutions and talk and say, hey, there's another way, Right. And every time I mention the two people in the world, and I mention it in the penitentiary, all the guys sitting there doing time kind of like, fuck, I'm just taking up space, so how do I change? So you start getting people to try to change.
And obviously, I mean, it's been well documented, your background and the life that you came up with, and that you obviously are making a difference, not only through the movies, but some of the charity work and stuff you do. So can you speak to that real quick, too?
The good thing about the film industry, as far as I'm concerned, is that, when you talk to kids, when you talk to people, it's like you have to get their attention, and it's impossible because kids don't have attention, and then you have to keep it, and their attention span is nil. And then you got to, show them you're cool, which is, if you're 10 years older than a kid, that you're not cool. And and then you deliver your message. My message is education and taking drugs and alcohol out of your lives. Well, the blessing that the film industry's given me is that when I walk onto a campus, I have their attention. Right. They want to hear what the guy from Spy Kids, the guy from Con Air, the guy from Desperado has to say. Right. You know? I mean, they don't really wouldn't listen to me, but those guys are like, whoa, you know. So I get to talk to the guys that don't usually listen.
Yeah, and the characters you play are so much bigger than real life in so many instances, whether it's Machete or whether it's the guy in Badass or whether it's, you know, Dust to Dawn. All these characters you play are like these really atypical, strong characters. And one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, growing up, were you a badass growing up, or was it just something that kind of developed over time because of the environment? Who is Danny Trejo when he's not on the camera?
Well, you know, growing up, I got into a lot of trouble. I didn't have I wouldn't, you know, one of the reasons, it's funny, it's in my record, does not play well with others. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I don't know if it makes you a badass or not, but, you know, you just don't take any steps backwards. And so, you know, people tend to get behind you, and if you don't take any step backwards. So I kind of ended up, you know, somewhat of a leader, but, you know, I led myself into the penitentiary. So until I surrendered, it kind of says, hey, there's got to be a higher power, you know, helping me here, or I'm going to kill myself. My life changed, you know, quite a bit. You know.
So talk to me about some of the stuff you've done recently. We see you on Sons of Anarchy. You were on Breaking Bad as Tortuga, you know.
Killed Opie, and I got 500 texts, and everybody want to know, why'd you kill him? I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him, okay? I don't write it. Shit.
Yeah, you're talking about Sons of Anarchy. Well, spoiler alert, a little late here, but yeah, you're a big fan of Opie. That was one of the hardest scenes I've ever seen on a TV show.
Yeah,
I mean, that.
Kirk, man, I tell him, you know.
Yeah, but that kind of ripped your heart out too, man.
Even mine.
I mean, obviously, you're a fan of the show as well as an actor in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole kind of that brings back the whole concept of family. Are we keeping you up, Danny? I'm sorry.
Burnt out, man. We went to see Gore.
You got put in the meat grinder,
and it was like crazy, man. And they were really cool. And then we, you know, like the Sons is really a great movie. Everybody always know, do you ride? My motorcycle is on the June edition of Easy Rider. You know, that's
nice. So you're not playing, right? So talk to me about the video game stuff. Obviously, you were Raul the Ghoul. You did some stuff in Vice City, and I always wanted to.
Black Ops.
Oh, you're doing Black Ops. That's right. And I always wondered what it was like to get your ass kicked by Carmen Electra.
I loved it.
So what do you have coming up in the video game realm? Anything new?
Yeah, I can't remember. I just finished a movie called Zombie Hunter, and I think they're going to make a video game out of that. It should be coming out in March, the movie, and then from there they'll go to a video game. It's going to be fun.
And then one of the movies I was really stoked about 2 years ago, and I haven't seen, I think it's still coming out, is Vengeance. Talk to me about that real quick.
That's, you know, there's no really release date. They kind of got it on the shelf. It's been around a long time, so they're kind of like stowing it just to, you know, let it cool off a little, you know. Right. So we'll see what happens afterwards.
And we were talking to Tony Todd, the producer of Sushi Girl you got coming up. Yeah, that looks badass. You got Mark Hamill in there, dude. Talk to me a little bit about that movie.
Well, you know, it's like Sushi Girl was a good movie. Did it last year, and I think it's getting ready. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. You know what I mean? And I love working with people that love what they're doing, you know, and that was one of them, you know, where everybody just kind of dug what they're doing. Zombie Hunters, the same thing. Bunch of kids I was working with, you know what I mean? And then working like on Sons of Anarchy, same thing. They're all like, you know, they all know we're blessed, you know.
Yeah, because I was looking through your dossier. You had like you have like 20 projects that are either in pre, post, or production.
Some of them, some of them, you know, I only kind of like discuss the projects that are ready to go up new, you know, and like what we just finished was like the Zombie Hunters, and we have another one coming out in March called Dead in Tombstone. And it's with Michael Hall, Anthony Michael Hall, and me, and Rene Rule is the director. We did it in Romania, and it is an unbelievable Western. I mean, It's an ass kick. It is going to be the reason Westerns come back.
There you go, Dead in Tombstone. Well, we don't want to keep you too long, buddy, because you know you've had a long weekend. This is Dane Talk, a.k.a. Waterborne, with the Danny Trejo. We appreciate you taking some time, brother, and thank you so much for giving back to the community as well as being just an awesome character on the film.
Thank you, and I'll see you on Facebook.
Yeah. Oh, and before we forget, real quick, you have a costume contest.
Yeah, I'm not really they're just putting it together, the particulars, but they're going to do a Danny Trejo one of the characters of my movies. You got 230 to pick from, but and whoever, wins a dinner with me somewhere.
Great. So the information's on your Facebook page. People can check out. All right. So check out Danny Trejo's Facebook page for the costume contest. Get to eat some food with the man. And once again, this is Dane Tulloch, a.k.a. Waterborne, with 2old2play.com here at Rock and Shock 2012. Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. Can we get one photo with you real quick, and then we'll let you get out of here? You look like you're about ready to...